Hi guys, you're welcome to my channel. My name is Ajibola. Today I'm going to be teaching you on how I converted this old looking t-shirt of mine into this beauty right here. If this is what you would love to watch, kindly stick to the end and subscribe to my channel. Click on the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time I drop a new hot video. Like and share to your loved ones. So we'll be going directly into what is will be needed for this project. You'll be needing your soldering iron to melt out and conceal the edges of your pattern work. You'll be needing a fabric glue here. As you can see, I'm making use of one. You'll be needing trimmings and accessories. um there I was holding the flower from my old past project, but I didn't later make use of. You'll be needing a pencil. You'll be needing a needle and thread to tack your work, which I didn't also make use of. Then a pattern paper, a pattern paper of your image, any pattern work. I downloaded this from Pinterest. It could be in any size you want. You can print it out in a much bigger image. Then of course your Ankara fabric. You can make use of any scrap fabric you have of Ankara that is beautiful, that you know will blend with your t-shirt. Now I'm making use of a black crepe Duchess fabric there. I also got that for my scrap work. Then an interface, you'll be needing interfacings. Yes, I made use of my paper stay and the regular color stay. You can make use of any other type of interfaces depending on the structure you want to achieve. And of course, you'll be needing your t-shirts. You can make use of your old t-shirts you don't want to throw away, and you can make use of a new one. So guys, after that, I set aside all the items. I went ahead to cut out the image out of the paper neatly and carefully. Guys, you do not need to rush it at this stage. You just need to take your time because you need to cut a neat and clean edges. So you can make use of your scissors, and if you're not comfortable with your scissors, you can make use of a blade to cut it out neatly, guys. Like I said, do not rush it. Be patient and be careful so you don't cut where you're not supposed to cut out. As you can see me here, I'm cutting it out carefully, slowly, and taking my time to do that all round the image, all round the image. So guys, I have cut it out successfully, and here I was trying to explain that once you are done cutting out your image out of your paper, try and study what you want to do. You can, this is the point at which you need to be very very creative, like in the sense of deciding how you want to incorporate your fabrics, your Ankara, whatever you want to do. Right now I decided to cut out the head band, the head tie, away from the face to the neck, and decided to cut out the shoulder parts too. So making three parts. I'm cutting out the head tie away, now cutting out and also cutting out the shoulder part away, as you can see me illustrating with my hands here. Then of course the earrings will not be cut out. I'm going to cut out a round um pattern from my fabric Ankara, which will be Ankara, and paste it on the the neck, the face area of it, just to spice it out. So you can decide to do any kind of thing, just bring out your creativity juice, let it flow. So as you can see, I'm cutting out the shoulder area away, and also going to cut out the headband also away. So guys, you need to be careful here. You need to be careful so you don't go and cut excess or cut what you're not supposed to cut out. So as you can see, I'm carefully doing this. Like I said earlier on, you can make use of your scissors if you're comfortable with it, or your blade if you're comfortable with it. So right here, guys, I've already cut the three parts out, making it, already cut out the head parts, the face and the shoulder away, making it three different parts, as you can see here. So guys, you're going to go ahead to number it so you will not be confused. Actually, this image is very simple. You can do more complex images that you would have like about 5 6 different patterns cut out of an image. So you need to label so that you will know which will come first, second and the last. So now I'm bringing out my fabrics. I'm bringing out my black fabric, my Ankara here, to iron and to interface them according to the size of the patterns. I did not interface all of my pattern because that would be wastage of resources. So you will just measure with the pattern already cut out. You just measure them out on your fabric so that you'll be able to iron your interfacing exactly on that size so that you will not have to waste your materials. So I'm showing you how I'm going to go about it here. First, I ironed my paper stay first on my fabric. Then I went ahead to iron my collar stay on top of it to give it the structure I really want to have. So like I said, you can make use of any interfacing you want depending on the structure you want to achieve. If you want the structure to be very hard, you can make use of the hardest texture of stay. So here I am after ironing. Here I am cutting out a strip of fabric for the shoulder area of it. I decided not to cut out the exact shape of the shoulder area because I just wanted to be creative with it. So I decided to cut my strip to be 3.5 inches wide and 15 inches long to create a pleat, to create a pleated uh, illusion on the shoulder part of it. But you can decide to cut it out permanently, like cut it exactly the way it is shaped on your paper. That's if you want to do that. And if you want to do that, you will need to iron your stay. So here I am drafting my circle for the earrings. I went around it just like the way you want to draft a circumference. You fold it in four and mark out 1.5 inches from the top area to make a cone, as you can see here. 1.5 inches. I'll use half inch to sew around, so I cut two of that and stitch around it with half inch, so I'll be left with just 1 inch of earring. So I cut out two pieces of the circle. I stitch it on my machine all round and turn it out. And if you want to turn out a circle, for those who doesn't know how to sew, after sewing all round, that's placing right side together, you are going to slit the wrong side. You're going to slit it a little bit and tuck it out of it. You're going to turn it by tucking it out of it and ironing it to create a circle. So this is me showing you the ironed fabrics. So I'll be going to my soldering iron to melt it out, but before you do that, you're going to make use of your um, pins. You're going to make use of your pins to hold them in place. And guys, for all projects, sewing project, art or craft project, you're going to make use of need your pins, guys, to hold your works intact. Your pins are very important. They are the little ends you need in holding your work in place so that you can uh, be comfortable and you can be able to do it. So I've plugged in my soldering iron and it's very, very, very hot. Guys, you need to be very careful while handling your soldering iron. And you can see here the way I'm gliding through my Duchess fabric easily. And as I was doing that, it was melting the edges neatly. There was no fray of threads on it. It gave me a perfect and a clean work. Everything was easy, but I was extra careful about it. It was fast and very, very easy, guys. Very, very easy. I do not make use of my soldering iron all the time, but this time around, I was glad I got myself one. So I kept that aside to go to the head tie. And guys, I struggled. If you look closely to what I was doing, you will see that I was applying pressure to it, much effort, and it wasn't sliding through like the first part. Then it was beginning to give me brown edges, like the way fire burns something up. So I struggled and struggled until I started experiencing flames or smoke, and I quit. I just immediately stopped it because I didn't want it to turn into maybe fire problem or so. So I just dropped the head scarf one place and went ahead to pull out the face from my fabric. And later I discovered that it could be because the texture of fabrics are different. The other black one is Duchess, like a silky fabric, like nylon. So it's melted very easily, no traces of smoke or anything. But at the Ankara part, it was just giving me something else. Then you can see me removing my pins, trying to detach the paper from the actual fabric. And look, guys, see how beautiful it came out. Very, very beautiful. And when I say the edges were just intact, clean, and no fray of threads at all. So now I had to go through the old method. Can you see what it was giving me? Brownish, ugly looking edges. But later I decided to make use of another method, that is cutting out with the scissors, with the scissors, like the way I did when I was cutting out the paper, the image from the paper. So you have to do a very, very clean and neat job, guys. You need to be very careful. Make sure that the edges are straight and smooth as possible as you can do. So I took my time and patience to do this. And I preferred it more than, going ahead with the soldering iron, because it would not give a clean job at all. And you need your edges to be fine and sleek. So I went ahead to cut it out, pulling out my pins as well from the um, paper, from the work, the pattern, so that I can detach my fabric from the paper. As you can see, me aligning it for you to see the resemblance. And guys, everything came out popping. Yeah, I was already having a good feeling about it. So I went ahead to my fire. Guys, if you are not up to age, allow adults to help you do it. So I just, as you can see, the way I'm smearing my pattern, across the flames. I didn't put it into the fire, not to burn my work beyond what I asked you. So you just do it slightly so that it would conceal the edges of your work. So here I am with my t-shirt. This is the next stage. I'm placing my pattern on my t-shirts. As you can see, I've already turned out my earrings. I've gone ahead to pleat my the shoulder parts of it. Here showing you how it's going to be. I've not attached it in any form to my t-shirt. I'm just setting everything in place so that I can know where they will be. So I didn't later make use of my flower because I felt everything would be too much and it would be too childish. So I decided to make use of rhinestones. So guys, you can decide to make use of anything you want here. Be creative. You can decide to just glue it and stitch all around and leave it that way, or you can decide to bling it up like the way I did, which I love, because guys, I rocked this to the bank the day after I made this. I couldn't wait to wear it. And it was a sunny day. Everything was just blinking. People were like, wow, I love your shirt. I love your shirt. I felt so proud of myself. So, guys, here I am gluing the work to the shirts, with my fabric glue. This glue gets dried on time, so but if you're making use of anyone that doesn't get dried on time, you can make it air dry for a little while. So I'm just using this to just put it in a place so that when I take it to my machine to sew, it will not be moving here and there. It is better to make use of your glue than pins. But later I discovered along the line that I should have made use of a hemming glue. That one that um, is placed under your fabric and you iron on top of it. I could have made it because this glue later started smearing on my fabric, staining it, and I didn't like it. But you just need to be careful. And if you're making a fabric glue, you're using a fabric glue that has a nozzle mouth, then that will be fine as well. So here I am placing my earring on, gluing my earring, trying to put my glue generously along the edges of it. Guys, you don't need to put too much of glue because you still have to sew around along the edges. So I'm trying to air dry it a little bit, then before placing it in its proper position, as you can see here. So I went ahead to the pleated part. So guys, you're just going to pleat it, or I ran a gather stitch on my fabric. I didn't really pleat it, just gathered, but you can pleat if you want. So here I am putting my glue generously at the edges of it, on the edges of my work. So guys, then I am, yes, placing it on the neck area of my work, of the neck. So here I am placing it on the neck area, as you can see, carefully, and I'm applying pressure on it so it could stick on it. Yes, so you see the way it's coming out beautiful, and according to how I've imagined it to be. So just apply a little pressure to make sure your glue is sticking, is already sticking to it. Then the trimmings, I decided to make use of the trimming, though I didn't make use of the flower accessory any longer. So the trimming, as you can see, I'm trying to measure out how much I'm going to need for the trimming, though I had little left from my past projects that I made use of. So that is me putting my glue. First, you will need to fold in the edges of your trimmings because you do not want it to fray and you want your work to be neat. So I folded in the starting part of it and I placed it gently on the raw edges of my gathers. As you can see, guys. So I'm placing it carefully and making it to cover the edges neatly. So now I'm applying my glue on the top edge of my gathered fabric, carefully placing my trimming on it. And I folded the edge of the other end also. I folded it inward. And I'm compressing the trimmings to the, pressing it towards on top of my work. And guys, I later used my tweezers or my picker to remove the excess glue away from the edges to make it clean. So guys, I would advise, like I said earlier on, just make use of a glue that has a nozzle mouth, or you make use of your hemming gum glue. So guys, after it has been dried, I allowed it to get dried for about 10-15 minutes. Then I decided to take it to my machine to sew round the edges because your glue will not really glue your work permanently to your shirt, and you wouldn't want your work, your patchwork to pull off as time goes. So you need to secure it closely to the edge with a stitch in a matching color of thread, like I'm showing you right here. So you have to sew. Guys, you can also make use of embroidery stitches to sew the edges all round. If you're not an expert in sewing, you can give it to your tailors around you so that they can help you with that. So now I'm done with the stitching and everything is in place. As you can see, it was already dark here, and as you can see, I'm making use of my torchlight as well, so we can see it clearly. So guys, before all this, make sure you iron out your t-shirt so that you will not have any form of rumple or wrinkles on it. So you have to make your shirt smooth as possible. So yeah, um about to stone my work with my picker and my rhinestones. Guys, you can decide to not do it if you choose, if you don't like it, and you can decide to be extra like I am. So here I am starting to place my stones on my work on the edges all round. Guys, you can also place them closely, like very, very close to one another. I mean the stones, so that you can, if you want it to be much, and you can decide to give it a little spacing, like the way I am doing right here. So I'm spacing it, and I'm giving so much ideas to you so that you will not be restricted to stones alone. You can decide to bead your work, make use of your beads. You can decide to, use rhinestones like I'm using here, and just be creative about it. You need to be careful, you need to be patient when you are doing this. It's actually therapeutic when you're stoning, but those of us who do not like stoning, well, I would advise you to skip this part. So guys, after placing my stones everywhere the way I wanted it to be, I later decided to iron it because it's an hot fixed glue stone. So I placed a piece of fabric on top of it to secure it from burning. And whatever fabric you'll be placing on it, guys, please make sure it's the one that doesn't bleach out. And also, let me also tell you that whatever Ankara or fabric you're using for your patchwork, endeavor that it's the one that doesn't bleach when you wash it, so that you will not ruin your work and your shirt. So I placed my iron on it. My iron not too hot and not too cold, in between. So you have to place it one part after the other carefully. This is me checking it if my rhinestones are still intact. And if they move away from where you place them, please endeavor to put them in their proper position. So here I am ironing it carefully, and as you iron, supervise your work. Make sure that they are properly glued to it, to your work. So I'm checking it out if the rhinestones haven't moved from where I placed them. So you just need to iron, take your time, and do not place your iron directly on your work to avoid it being burnt or stained. So that is why I am placing a fabric on top of it. So, guys, I was done ironing and look at the beauty. Can you see how beautiful it is? It was so beautiful. You can wear this on your jeans, your skirt, your shorts, and so on. Please, if you love this video, kindly like, subscribe, and share to your friends and loved ones. See you on my next video. Bye.